something shifted in the air that night. The sky was unusually still, the moon dim as if the world itself was holding its breath. It was the kind of silence that felt heavy, almost sacred, the kind that makes you feel as though something important is about to happen. And in the middle of that hushed stillness, Jimin reappeared. He had been silent for weeks. No updates, no messages, no hints about where he had been or how he had felt. For someone who rarely disappears without reason, the absence felt loud. Fans waited and waited, wondering if he would ever break the quiet. Then suddenly, without warning, he did. And he did it in the most Jimin way possible. Not with a selfie, not with a long caption, but with a simple photo of the moon. No edits. No dramatic angles. Just the dark sky and a soft, fading moon shining faintly through the emptiness. Beneath it, 5 quiet words that made millions stop. It seems the moon is falling. No emojis, no explanation. Just a sentence that felt poetic, fragile, and deeply emotional. Anyone who has followed Jimin long enough knows he does not choose his words carelessly. He does not post without intention. And the timing of the post felt far too perfect to be coincidence. Only hours before, Jungkook had quietly returned to Korea after his short trip to Japan. The fandom had just begun buzzing with updates about his arrival when suddenly, the moon fell on Jimin's feed. He didn't speak with details or direct statements. He spoke with symbols. He always has. And for years, the moon has been a quiet thread woven into their story, appearing in lyrics, in small shared moments, in subtle gestures that only those who pay attention can truly understand. To many, that moon was more than an image. It was a feeling. A confession in disguise. A soft way of saying something he could not put into straightforward words. In Korean culture, the moon is often tied to longing. The kind of longing that doesn't shout but whispers, the kind that hopes the person you miss is looking at the same sky as you. And the phrase, "the moon is falling," sounded like a weight too heavy for him to carry alone. Some fans interpreted it as a metaphor. If the moon falls, perhaps it means someone precious has returned to the earth. Others believed he was expressing a kind of emotional overflow, a sudden rush of something familiar and warm. Whatever it was, it felt intimate. It felt intentional. And it felt like the quiet beginning of something shifting. But the peace did not last long. Not long after Jimin's post, the entertainment world exploded with a new announcement. Are you sure? Season 2, the long-awaited travel show featuring Jimin and Jungkook, was officially confirmed. The fandom shook again, this time with a mix of excitement, disbelief, and immediate controversy. As always, negativity surfaced in seconds. Taekookers began stirring chaos, refusing to see the two names together. A small portion of Jimin fans, those obsessed with the idea of finding Jungkook a girlfriend, also jumped into the noise. And then came a new faction, the Wingkook shippers, many of whom were former Taekookers looking for a fresh narrative to cling to. Rumors exploded like wildfire. Photos of Jungkook visiting the Chrome Heart store in Japan, a brand he loves and coincidentally one Jimin also favors, spread everywhere. Because the store sold the necklace Jimin had been wearing since July, some people insisted Jungkook was there with someone. Even his phone cases became a battlefield. When he used a black case, it was labeled a hidden message. When he changed to the red-horned case, it became a relationship signal. In reality, it was simply fashion, nothing more. Then came the manipulated images. AI-generated photos of Jungkook supposedly traveling with a woman. AI selfies showing him on dates. Some were eerily realistic, but for those who know his posture, his expressions, his energy, there was always something off. The intention was clear: to stir division, to damage reputations, to drown the truth in noise. The irony is that Jimin went through the exact same thing before. He too was accused of traveling with someone to Japan based on AI edits that later proved completely fake. And now the same pattern was repeating with Jungkook, almost as if someone was waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Right when Jimin and Jungkook were returning into each other's orbit. The uproar grew even louder when people began twisting flight schedules, claiming Taeyong being in Hawaii and Jungkook being in Japan around similar dates meant they traveled together. No solid evidence. No real photos. Only speculation shaped into narratives by accounts hungry for attention. It was almost funny, if it weren't so exhausting, how many of these false narratives borrowed language once used by Jikook fans, but twisted it into something designed to attack them instead. Through all of it, Jimin and Jungkook remained silent. Not cold, not dismissive, just calm. The kind of calm that comes from experience, from having survived storms like this more times than anyone can count. They know what it's like to live under a magnifying glass, where every small gesture becomes a conspiracy and every quiet moment becomes fuel for speculation. And so, as always, they chose their own path. They let their actions speak. And their actions were loud. Their show would continue. It had already been filmed. 6 episodes shot secretly in Switzerland, a place chosen not for business but for beauty, serenity, and healing. They had wandered through mountains, lakes, and tiny quiet towns, capturing moments that felt more like memories than content. Jungkook had cooked carbonara, perfectly this time. They had laughed, had shared comfortable silence, had spoken gently about life after the military, about growth, about the places they wanted to go, and maybe even about what it means to move forward together. The official poster showed what words could not. The closeness that did not need to be performed, the warmth that seemed effortless, the way their bodies naturally leaned toward each other. Their interactions were not loud or exaggerated. They were simple, sincere, the kind of intimacy that is real precisely because it does not try too hard. For fans, Are You Sure? Is more than entertainment. It is a window into the most human parts of 2 global superstars. Into their vulnerabilities, their laughter, their quiet strength. Their schedule for the show even felt symbolic, unfolding like a story. Anticipation through the poster, curiosity through the teasers, reunion through the premiere, and closure on Christmas Day. A story told gently, chapter by chapter, under the same sky they once stood beneath together in Switzerland. But the shadow of rumors lingered. Especially when the fake images spread wider, pushed by those hoping to spark chaos. Still, neither Jimin nor Jungkook reacted. They didn't argue. They didn't deny. They knew that truth doesn't need a microphone. It just needs time. And perhaps that is what makes them special. They do not chase validation. They do not seek applause. They simply exist with sincerity, letting the world interpret their story however it wants. What is real does not need a stage. Jimin's falling moon, Jungkook's quiet return, and their shared journey in Are You Sure? Season 2 inch form a tapestry of meaning, subtle yet unmistakable. 2 hearts continuing side by side despite the world's endless attempts to rewrite their narrative. Sometimes love doesn't speak in sentences. It speaks in glances, in soft laughter, in silence that feels like understanding. And sometimes when words are too heavy, it speaks through a simple dim moon hanging in the night sky.